All right, guys. So I wanted to talk to you today about Joshua, right? The faithful servant of God and the faithful servant to Moses. He was the one who, after Moses passed away, he took the mantle to make sure that the children of Israel or the Israelites were able to get into the promised land, which was Canaan, right? So basically, during their journey, God has spoken to Joshua, really letting him know, hey, there's going to be some battles along the way, and you guys are going to have to fight them to get these lands or to get them out of the way. And the reason why God did this also to allow them to fight the other nations is because he knew that if these nations weren't out the way, the Israelites would never be able to get to the promised land. They will always be looking over their shoulder, and also they will get corrupted along the way, which a lot of them have or did during that time. So the part that I want to talk about with Joshua, right? Because as we know by now, Joshua was a very faithful servant to God. And he wasn't playing no games when it came to his relationship, his service to the Lord. That's it, right? So basically, I've been doing a little study on Joshua, and I like the one especially where he asks God, let the sun stand still, right? So today I'm gonna get into that, and that's Joshua. It starts from Joshua 10, 1 through 15. All right, so if you want to follow along, grab your Bible. We're gonna do this little devotion here. So the enemy's alarm, right? So this is Joshua 10:1. Since their crossing of the Jordan and the entrance into the promised land, Joshua and the Israelites had been on a tear. Jericho had fallen, and after initial stumble, the city of Ai was captured next by Joshua and the Israelites. Following that, the people of Gibeon entered into a peace agreement with Israel. So if you don't know who the Gibeons were when Joshua and them got over into Canaan, they pretty much tried to do a little bit of trickery. They sent some people over with some old bread, some old wine, and whatever else they did, and they dressed in raggedy clothes, and they made it seem like they came from a far away, because everybody in the surrounding lands pretty much at this point has heard about Joshua and the Israelites. Okay, so most people were already scared. They were nervous. They didn't know what to do. So Gibeon, which was a massive city who really didn't need Israel at the time, or thought they didn't need Israel at the time, but God knew ahead of what everybody needed, right? So basically, when Joshua found out from God that these people who was trying to trick them were from Gibeon, which was pretty much like the next city over, probably 20, 30 minutes away. And I'm not saying it was that close. I'm talking about probably driving time. But we know back in the day, they were on horses and things like that. But long story short, when Joshua found out, he confronted the guys who came to him and tried to trick him, and he asked them, why did you do that? They were honest. They told him that they were scared and that they basically wanted to make peace with Israel. They didn't want to, have this whole thing of them beefing, right? So God saw ahead of them and Joshua the future, and he knew that they would need one another. So Joshua came into a peace agreement with them that they could never fight against one another, and whatever other agreements that they made, but pretty much that they would never, cross paths in that way. So it worked out for both them and the Israelites, right? Joshua and the Israelites. So going forward, let's move forward. Aware that he would be unable to withstand Joshua's force, which was, now I'm talking about Adonizedek, which is a king of Jerusalem, right? And he was very, for whatever reason, he feared Joshua and the Israelites. Like I said, most of them in the surrounding area did. So what he did, he came up with a scheme, and he got with 4 other kings, right? Or 3 other kings. And he was like, hey, we're going to have to take these Israelites down. We're not going to be able to do it by ourselves. So each of our kingdoms need to be able to come together and take down the Israelites, right? So when they found out King Adonizedek, when he found out that Gibeon, right, made a peace treaty with Israel, they like, hold up, wait a minute, like, why y'all do that? You know what I'm saying? Y'all have this big force, y'all don't really need to do all of that, or y'all could have came to us and we would have helped you. So they got mad, tried to go against the Gibeonites, right, because they wanted to try to get them out of the way before they came against the Israelites, right? They was trying to take down all their, I guess, competition. So basically in that moment, Adonizedek and the other 3 kingdoms, they surrounded the Gibeonites. Gibeonites sent messengers to Joshua and the Israelites, hey, we need y'all help. We can't do this on our own. They got us surrounded on all 4 sides. So please come and help us, guys. We need your help. We need you right now, right? Because we know you stronger than everybody else. God is on your side. We need you. We see the blessings that God has bestowed upon you guys. So please come and help us, right? So basically, going forward, I'm fast forwarding here. And so the Gibeonites had been potential enemies not for long before, where now they're allies of the Israelites because of the treaty agreed by Joshua. As allies, they now could count on the Israelites, right?